We've got to start fighting and stand up and not be afraid and not be shy. We've got to start fighting for our children, for this little girl that caught my eye today. I love children. My son's in heaven. He was killed, only at 11 years old. But I'm thankful that I can see these beautiful children here. They're our future. But they can't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to do it. We've got to stand up. I'm not happy. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, with our city manager. I've been there. But I can't do it, people, by myself. We've got to stand up, and we've got to face what's coming forward. We don't need this. We need this building. We need the library for our future, these children. Things aren't getting much better. I think some of it's getting worse.
Thank you.
Please, you all. And look up to God. God's going to help us. And I'm sorry, but I have to say thank you.
I'm Linda Rogers. I'm chairman of the Stillwater Public Library Board. But I want to talk to you on a different aspect than most of the things that have been shared here tonight. Everything that's been shared here, I share that with you equally. We've talked about what goes on within the library, what it means to us, to our children, what we would have to do without if we have to absorb a 25% cut. But let me point out to you, and I hope that the city council understands this and the city manager, that this also affects the growth of Stillwater. It affects the future of the community. Just last year, we were all hoping and scratching and knocking on doors and whatever, trying to get this census conducted, to get this population up to 50,000 so that we could possibly lure more industry and business to our city. Let me tell you, after working 23 years as a realtor in Oklahoma City and working with companies that were looking to move into the area, there are a number of things that businesses and industry look at when they're considering a move or to open something new in a city. They look at the workforce, they look at the schools, they look at the parks, they look at the churches, they look at entertainment venues, they look at every aspect of the city, including libraries. That is a part of what is considered to be the quality of life. You have to offer a good quality of life if you're going to induce someone to move to your city or to relocate a business. You don't need to think that Boeing is opening 500 jobs in Oklahoma City next week without having conducted this type of research in Oklahoma City. Of course, they have done it a number of times in the past because they have a number of facilities there. But these kinds of things go on behind the scenes and many people don't realize it. But your city council, your convention and visitors bureau, all these business people that are in the management of the city know that they have to provide the whole scope within this city if this city is to grow. If we're to have more shopping areas, we have to have housing. We have to have workers. We have to have places for these people to go to be entertained. We have a lot to offer in Stillwater. We have a great university. They offer sports, the arts, drama, music, you name it. It's available. And for what price? How cheap can you go see a play on the campus at OSU? compared to going to Oklahoma City or Tulsa. So we have a lot to offer here, and we do not need to have someone touring Stillwater and saying what a beautiful library, and then we're having to duck our head and say, well, we only use half of it. We can't let this happen. Don't sit back and let it happen.
How do people join Friends of the Library? Friends of the Library, we invite people to sit on the be part of the group. If you're interested, you can contact me or Tom, or
if you're just wanting to join the Friends, it's a $10 annual fee, and we have applications at the circulation desk. Lynn was thinking of the Friends of the Library board because she serves on the board, and there's 20 members that serve on the board. I don't believe they have a vacancy at this time, but I know that they certainly would like any number of members that would want to join for $10, and then you get into the book sales.
Well, I thought that would give you a bigger voice. And is Friends of the Library a fundraising arm of the library?
The Friends of the Library, through their sales, provide quite a bit of money to the library, and I will answer that question. Donations we receive do stay with the library. So when the Friends of the Library board decides they want to give me money to have our summer reading program, that is money that the city's tracking on my behalf, but that's money that's not going back to the city. In essence, I spend the money that I receive in donations.
Beyond your budget.
I'm sorry, what?
It's all beyond your budget.
But it's beyond, it's the Friends of the Library is beyond what the city budgets to me, yes.
So that certainly is a solution in terms of figuring out a way. People have talked about donating. So one option would be, is there a mechanism that people could donate directly to the library and offset the budget cuts? I don't know that anybody wants to give to the city of Stillwater and let them give the money to the library, but maybe there's a mechanism to do that. Another way is some sort of foundation that's there. Not that we're asking for more money right now to do that, but that might be something that could be set up or something that could be done. You know, this Stillwater Public Education Foundation.
Well,
they've got a foundation that then
we have that mechanism. Lynn serves on that board.
There we go.
We can accept donations. Yes.
Yes, my understanding that City Council wants us to offer them solutions, not just complaints about what we don't want to see happen to the library. I understand that we can't discuss that tonight because those solutions may involve us making recommendations about other programs. Is there a way for us to all get together in another forum and discuss those things?
Eliminate city manager, $750,000.
And we have a sign-up sheet where everybody can put their email addresses on.
How much does it cost to rent this room so we can be here again? Seriously.
Teresa, is it $35? $35 an hour to rent this room.
We can rent this room and meet here again and present our ideas and discuss it.
Because I think we can't really discuss a solution without discussing other parts of the city.
we have another comment here.
I was just sitting here thinking, the gentleman who spoke to us a little bit earlier, his name is Leon Wood, and it moved me, and I'm pretty sure it did others, that he had brought some historical perspective into all of this. Would one of you talk with him and urge him to put that statement in the newspaper?
Absolutely.
News press is here. The news press is here.
What was the question?
Can hear the question.
Yes.
Leon, submit your story to the news press. They're crying for it.
You know, if people want to come back to this room again and set up another meeting, we can talk to, who can we talk to, Linda? When's the room open again? We can pay the fee.
We'd have to check with our meeting room staff during regular business hours to see when it's available.
So How do we get back to people?
Depending on, I mean, if someone were to rent the room, they could then advertise, I guess, a meeting. I don't know how you want to handle that.
Linda, you couldn't advertise it on the library website, correct?
No, we don't.
Okay.
We just advertise our own programs, but we don't advertise when people rent meeting rooms. But I've seen people put up flyers for meetings that they're having at the library when they've rented meeting rooms here. So if that's not too confusing, I mean, you can rent.
The newsman thought I'd have it in there for it.
Linda, how much would you stand to lose if you didn't have your one book, one community, that kind of thing, or would you be able to continue on with that?
I usually try to get grants for our one book, one community, and so I don't know whether or not I could accept the grant that I've recently been awarded for the next community-wide reading event.
Because we were going to partner with you. There's an awful lot of potential lost revenue here that I don't think the city's looking at. And that concerns me a great deal because I think we've partnered on 4 so far, correct?
We've had 3, and and this would have been our 4th. We've done that for 9 years, the Let's Talk About It programs. And I do receive a grant, a very small grant, but I do receive a grant for that program as well. And the Friends supplement the remaining balance for that program.
I think we need to kind of tie this up and close the meeting. We said originally it was going to be from 7 to 8. We're already past that.
Right.
This was started by the Friends of the Library to start the conversation. We knew we weren't going to be able to come up with a definite answer tonight. And unfortunately, we've got a lot of people here, and she may have one answer, he may have another. Solutions, I mean, people have different ideas on what the city ought to do. I understand that. But I think as a Friends of the Library, there's a good chance that we can figure out ways where we can maybe have some more of these meetings. We try to keep this structured. Maybe it's bring some ideas and talk about some options and bring several options to the city commission, to the city leaders, so that we can do this. So we're going to go back now and investigate and talk about how can the Friends of the Library, we're not running this show, but how can we get some other open ideas going, exchanging?
Before we lose people, though, I have a pad of paper here. Most of us have email addresses. Would you be willing to write down your email address?
Why don't we bring that right up here and set it down on the stage, and people that want to come up here and do that, and there's a good possibility we could probably send out a list saying when the next meeting might be. Someone that's smarter than me that can set that up on the computer.
Hey, Tom, I have a question.
Also, check News and Brief in the Stillwater newspaper.
Also, there's a Save the Stillwater Public Library Facebook page that you can follow. In fact, we have some photos that have been posted, including some from some of our patrons. So Save the Stillwater Public Library Facebook page if you're on Facebook.
Tom, I have a question. When is the deadline that the final city budget has to be passed by? Because we're running up against the deadline.
June 23rd.
Yeah, sure. Come on up.
First and foremost, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for inviting me to come. I apologize for my attire. I literally jumped down out of an attic to be here. When I leave here, I'm going to jump right back in that attic and finish the job. Long and the short of it is, I've heard a lot of great ideas tonight. I got a lot of information that I was not aware of. And with the Friends of the Library and stuff like that, I want to get back to that. What was the question? Well, hold on. I can't answer a question because I know the meeting's long. But ask the question. I will write it down and then ask Norman how to answer it. What's the question?
Historically speaking, when does the final city budget have to be passed by the Common Council?
June 23rd.
It's June 23rd.